chair recognizes Representative Moss.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in strong support of Senate Bill 556 and appreciate Senator Horn's initiative on this effort. This is a Senate counterpart to a House bill that I introduced which earned bipartisan support. The Commercial Rehabilitation Act is a tool that we used during my time on the Southfield City Council to eliminate the commercial blight that was beginning to be too prevalent in neighborhoods adjacent to commercial blighted property. Back in the 1960s, my community was Michigan's fastest growing city and expanded from farmlands to the economic hub in Metro Detroit that it is today over that next decade. And as a result, 2/3 of our tax base is commercial property, among the highest in the state. Now, this is not a Southfield issue. Other communities around the state that enjoyed that same expansion.
Members, we do have a colleague attempting to address us. The chair recognizes Representative Moss.
Thank you. Other communities around our state that enjoyed that same expansion at that time in our state's history are facing the same challenges today. Cities around Michigan are saturated with buildings that are 50 to 60 years old. Many sit vacant, and the longer that they sit vacant, the more dilapidated they become. And we've reached the end of that cycle in development for these properties and need to reinvigorate our communities. So the Commercial Rehabilitation Act has allowed local municipalities to tackle this problem. This is a local tool that local units of government can choose to use or not to use that has an impact on the state's economy as a whole. Just last year, Durr Systems, which is a German automotive supplier, came to our city to occupy a former utility call center which was left vacant and in shambles. And through the Commercial Rehabilitation District that we established, Durr was able to make a $40 million investment, bringing nearly 500 employees to the facility, and that's now their North American headquarters here in Michigan. This investment was made possible through the local decision to establish a commercial rehabilitation district. One last note to mention is that in my community, we're going through, in a very high-profile way, what many communities in our state are going through, the closing of a shopping mall. In our case, it's the Northland Center, which is largely acknowledged to be the first mall in America. The Commercial Rehabilitation Act can be used to transform dead malls and dying shopping centers that plague our districts throughout the state and put them back to proper land use. So I urge support of Senate Bill 556 to extend the sunset of the Commercial Rehabilitation Act, and have been grateful to work with a bipartisan team to help bring this legislation forward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Moss. The clerk will tally, display, and announce the vote.
Mr. Speaker, on the question of final passage of Senate Bill 556, there are 87 aye votes and 19 nay votes.
A majority of the members elected and serving having voted therefore, the bill is passed.